And in case there are any conspiracy theorists out there, how would you prove to us that you're in zero gravity?
To the Flat Earth podcast for another hour or so of Flat Earth audio. I am your co-host for now, Matt Long from flatworth.com. And with me as always is Dave from Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. Dave, how you doing, man?
Doing all right. We're struggling with technical difficulties or some sort of interference with our recording, but we're sounding good now. So hello, Matt. How's it going? How's the day?
I'm doing great.
How's your day?
Yeah, it's been pretty good. I knocked a lot of work out earlier, so a productive day is always a good day.
The crackling is back, but we're just going to go through it. We have a short show probably today because Matt is traveling later this week. Is that true, Matt?
That is correct. I'm traveling later this week.
Where are we starting?
All right. So, Dave, you called me earlier this week and wanted to talk a little bit about aliens, planets, and stars. Do you recall the conversation?
The thing that I was thinking, which is going to make me sound insane to some people, is that the problem that people have with aliens, well, first, extraterrestrials, in my mind, are people from the extra territory that we may be unaware of. Would you agree with that, Matt?
Potentially beyond the Antarctic ring.
Beyond the Antarctic ring, or possibly beyond the Arctic ring.
I see.
Areas that we don't have access to, but mostly beyond the Antarctic shoreline that we can't really get past. Then there's aliens, and a lot of people say that aliens are demons. I think they're angelic in nature, and whether they're fallen angels or, for lack of a better word, do you have a better word than angel?
I don't. I think angel is actually a pretty good word in that, when something is a UFO, it's unidentified, right? Don't know what it is. Just because it's unidentified does not mean that you automatically know it's bad or good. I would agree. It's an angel. It may be a fallen angel, thus bad, or an angel of some kind, good.
All of the planets, they're all named after gods. All of these lights we see that are moving around in the sky, we don't know what they are. In my mind, they are souls. They are sentient beings of some sort that totally affect our life. Astrology is what rules our world. In the heliocentric model of the physical, rocks in space makes no sense. So people that are having these experiences, either seeing things or actually having experiences, are having experiences with these sentient beings.
I would agree with that. I mean, the Bible says that they're for signs and for seasons, and stars and angels are interchangeable in the Bible. If you read the book of Enoch, it just comes out and plainly says that stars are angels. They're heavenly luminary. They're a class of heavenly luminary that rule the sky.
So if somebody told me even 6 months ago that I'd be on a podcast where my co-host would be talking about the Bible and I would be agreeing with him, I would say that they're absolutely insane. Just for the record, I always try to never use the Bible as proof of flat Earth. However, it amazingly backs up flat Earth, and you could say it's proof.
Sure. I mean, it depends what circles you run in, right?
Right. I get so many comments where people say, you believe in the Bible, and they just freak out on you. And I always say, I never use the Bible as flat Earth proof. I say, look at this proof. And by the way, it's exactly how the Bible says it.
I totally agree. You get down to as far, people talking about being abducted and things like that. And I think bottom line is that this place is much, much cooler and much more interesting than people realize.
It's really tough for me to wrap my words around what I feel this reality is.
Yeah, same here. I think this topic has run its course. I think we had way more excitement talking about it earlier in the week.
I do. I'm so thrown off by your voice being chopped up.
Okay, speaking of aliens, I want to talk a little bit about hurricanes. How do you like that transition?
I do.
So I had a guy named Chris Mackey, Chris.Mackey.522, I believe, on Instagram message me about this notion that hurricanes can be up to 400 miles wide, and there would be a considerable amount of curvature involved in that. What do you think about that?
I actually had a meme recently that showed a hurricane that was over Florida about 400 miles wide, and I think the curvature is about 18 or 19 miles on a...
Yeah, close to 20 miles.
Right, and they always show them flat. If they're really showing us what's there, why aren't they showing us a curved, what would it be, dome-like?
It probably would be dome-like. And I will say this guy, when I sent him your meme, he said he wasn't surprised that you already had a meme for it.
I didn't make the meme. I saw the meme.
But yeah, so if you take something that's supposed to be circular and then add curvature to it, does it then look elliptical from above? I'm just wondering if we would see perfect circles from above, I guess.
I don't know what a great argument it is because they're showing us a radar construct.
True.
It's not even a real picture. People will say at that distance, you can't notice that curvature because you're looking at it from top down. It's a great point. And a spinning dome hurricane is not what we experience, but it's a real hard one to prove.
But the notion that there needs to be 20 miles of curvature, 20 vertical miles of curvature just sounds like an insane number, right?
All curvature is insane.
Good point. Great point. One place they do not have hurricanes, though, is Mount Everest, right? One of the things that people say when they first hear about flat Earth, they say, well, why can't I see Mount Everest? So what is your rebuttal to that?
So many people come up and say, if the Earth was flat, how come we can't see Mount Everest or XYZ mountain? And my rebuttal was a good one for a long period of time. And I would say that there's two reasons. One, your distance from Mount Everest could be so far, or whatever mountain, that the angular size of the mountain is too small for your eyes to see. But in reality, you probably can't see it because the light reflecting off of it can't reach your eyes through the amount of atmosphere between you, because we know that there's moisture, pollution, just thickness to the atmosphere, and it becomes sky. You follow?
Yes, I follow.
I have a meme that shows a bunch of mountains that are just in the distance, one peak, another peak, another peak, and they're all offset a little bit, and each one gets lighter and lighter and lighter until it's just sky. There's another mountain there, you just can't see it because it's too far through the thickness of the atmosphere. That has recently been proven beyond doubt with infrared cameras. There's people that have either modified their cameras or gotten special infrared lenses. When you look into the distance, there's a video that's shooting over LA. The regular image, you just have sky, and the infrared image, boom, there are the mountains, 170 miles away, some even farther. I think he recorded some stuff from an airplane at 500 miles away. Not sure of the exact distances. Whatever the distances are, this proves that you can't see it because its light doesn't reach you, but infrared shows you that it's still there.
Right, and because you can't see it does not mean that it is not there.
It doesn't mean that it's over the curve. It means that you can't see it.
Right.
Because we're told there's curvature and you can't see things at certain distances because they're over the curvature. When someone says, oh, I can't see it, therefore there's curvature, you're just not looking at the whole picture. So this is absolute, undeniable proof that things disappear into the thickness of the atmosphere. And then if you measure the distance to those things, we're coming up with distances that are also impossible on a ball.
Totally agree. Which makes me wonder, if you were up in an airplane, you could not get high enough to get to a point where you could see far enough because of the thickness of the air to even differentiate between a flat or a ball.
as you go up higher, yes, you can see farther. On the last dozen plane flights I took, there was always so much moisture in the air that I couldn't even see the earth. I'm just seeing clouds. I'm just seeing, cloud and atmospheric density. I could barely see the earth at altitude on most of my trips.
Which makes it impressive how all these ball earthers go up on a commercial flight and tell you they can see the curve, right?
There's so many reasons people think they see a curve on an airplane. You're just seeing the circle of your vision. You're seeing perspective. Sometimes the windows have curve to them. There's so many reasons, but there's nothing definitive except if you get a super clear day for hundreds of miles, you're not going to be able to see anything.
Is that like the same thing like when I'm playing tennis and I hit a really good shot and the guy calls it out even though it was in?
Does he call it long?
He may call it long.
Do you get confused?
No, I know what he's up to.
Just finishing that topic off is infrared, seeing incredible distances, proving that things disappear into the thickness of the air. And that's something that has reflected light. What I've also proven in my videos, and I can't wait for the temperatures to get cooler and drier, where I'm going to try to get some better video of my sun fade out videos, where the sun, which is its own light, which is way more powerful than the light that we're seeing. When I say reflected light, it's anything that we see that isn't its own light source is reflected light. Light is bouncing off of it and coming to our eyes, which is much weaker than the actual sun source light.
You're differentiating daylight and sunlight.
I'm talking about the sunlight is actually lighting things up, and then that light is bouncing off of those things, and that's reflected light that you see. Daylight
Understood.
is a whole nother story. That's the sky fluorescing. That's another topic that we can talk about later.
Plasma.
But yeah, plasma. Little ball reference there. Even the sun disappears into the thickness. That's why the Canigou Mountain shot, you can't see Canigou Mountain until the sun goes beyond it and backlights it on that famous shot from Luge, France. That's why you don't see Canigou. You only see it those couple days of the year when the sun is lined up from those 2 points.
So let me ask you this. I thought it was Canigou.
I have no idea. Canigou, Canigou.
But I'll add that if you have not seen any of Dave's sun fade out videos, go to DITRH on YouTube. They're the best ones on the internet. I've never seen any other. They might be the only ones.
They're in a playlist called Sun Fade Out Videos. And people say, what, are you the only one on earth to catch this? How come I never observed that is the comments I get. And the reason is I don't know if anyone else has filmed this because it was only until recent technology.
Yeah, describe the technology, how high you were when you're filming it.
You need a super clear day, which is very rare. You need it to be not over water. So I'm on the East Coast, so it has to be a sunset. It can't be a sunrise. It has to be filmed from altitude. So you're above, you have a good far sight and there's no land masses in the distance for hundreds of miles that are above your eye line. And did I say it has to be super dry? So it has to be cold. You have to be at altitude. Oh, and you have to film it in 4K because it's so small that you can't really see it. So when I film it, I got my whole screen and then I have to go in and crop out the smallest crop I can make on my video editor just to take that section and bring it big enough so we could actually see what's happening. So one, it's impossible to see with your naked eye. There's no camera that can zoom in enough on it. Or maybe the new P1000 can, but how are you going to get it in that situation? You'd have to be up on a mountaintop in the perfect conditions. Very, very difficult to do. I think that now that people have seen it, that more and more people will be able to film it.
I think so. And I do think that you have figured out a way to capture something pretty incredible. And I agree, people will try to replicate it.
And I don't think it can be filmed from the ground. Ever.
I agree because it's going to hit that artificial horizon. The sun is going to hit the artificial horizon unless you were able to get significantly above it.
Right.
Totally agree. A great video by Dave. Go check it out if you haven't. Another great video that Dave just put out was his Yip Yap video. Dave, why don't you tell us about that?
The Yip Yap video was a Sesame Street, the total mind programming of our children that people park their toddlers in front of Sesame Street to get a little break.
Yep.
And they have the yip yaps on there. I'm in my 50s. I remember being a toddler watching that exact video, the Yip Yap video, where they're showing the moon and the stars and pigs in space, and they kept saying Earth, Earth, Earth. And I'm like, that's not Earth. That's not Earth. And then I knew it was Earth before they told me it was Earth. I was so proud. I remember walking around, anybody that was in the house, I was like, I knew that. I knew that. It's such a powerful video, and it's such utter mind control. It's disgusting. But I remember, that's like one of my earliest memories. I was so proud that I knew which one was Earth.
Was that you in the video?
Is that the picture of the baby?
There was a baby in the video. Was that you?
No, that was I was way cuter than that baby. Come on.
We all know that 9/11 is Dave's baby.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Reference to my first podcast ever. Episode 1 of Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. 9/11 is Dave's baby.
All the way back.
That was the beginning. That was the beginning of all of this.
And now we're here.
I was going to use a picture of me as a baby in that video, but I couldn't find a globe big enough to fit my head.
I was thinking it'd be tough to fit your head on mobile devices, probably.
Check out the Yip Yap video and just realize the incredible mind control that they put on children from the very beginning. I mean, you watched Sesame Street as a kid, right?
Yes.
They have astronauts on Sesame Street.
Yeah,
I mean, the only people that can get an astronaut for an interview is that little girl Zoe, Sesame Street, and Joe Rogan.
Well, so I went to, back before I was into this, I used to take my little girl to the museum all the time, which now museums to me are like churches, right? Just they're the churches of scientism. So I don't really like to go in them, especially with my daughter, because that's all it is evolution, millions of years, and space. That's what they're built for. I remember taking her to the planetarium, and it was a trip through the solar system hosted by Big Bird.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I even bought my kids a crib mobile of the planets. It's horrible.
Yeah. But okay, so that's a great video. Check out Dave's video on YouTube. And Dave, we're starting to figure out that people may like YouTube a little bit more than we thought.
Oh,
just like we found out that space doesn't suck as bad as we thought. Maybe listening to a podcast on YouTube doesn't suck as bad.
People do like the videos I've been putting together on YouTube. So maybe we'll back down from our harsh stance of a time to stop staring at a thumbnail for an hour, for however long the show is.
Okay, but let me ask you this. Do people understand what a podcast platform can do for them? And if they don't, maybe you could explain.
I will say that I've been getting a lot of messages that people that were speaking in other language, and we say podcast app and whatever. So let's just give a quick lesson is, if you have a smartphone, you probably, I know that on the iPhone, it has a default podcast player. It's already on there, and I'm not even sure if you can delete it.
It's a purple logo. I'm going to find out right now if you can even delete it.
If you don't have one, just go to the App Store, put in podcast player. Just think of it as a separate, like your iTunes player, and download it. It's simple. Once you have it, there's a search. You search for whatever the name of the podcast is, the Flat Earth Podcast. Subscribe, and that's it. It automatically downloads everything, keeps track of which ones you listen to. If you stopped halfway through, it'll remember where you stopped. You can speed it up. You can slow it down.
You can download it to listen later on an airplane when you don't have Wi-Fi.
Because it's on your phone, it won't use your battery up. It won't use your data up. It'll work when the phone's in airplane mode. It's just a lot more convenient.
I personally think it's more convenient. I just think a lot of people consume the Flat Earth content on YouTube, and so they're comfortable there. I don't fault them.
Well, we'll keep it going. We'll keep it going on YouTube, but also in iTunes. If you just click on your computer in iTunes, if you click podcasts, search for it, subscribe to it. It's a quicker way of getting it, and then it could just be in your playlist.
Agreed.
All right, enough on that.
Great, but we're taking a less harsh stance, is what you're saying. Okay.
I would like to talk about a speak pipe.
Hey, it's Mitchell from Australia. First time caller, long time listener. I'm currently putting together a physical mechanical test that will be able to measure the curvature of the Earth, or lack of it. It's called Torque the Line experiment. That's TORQUE. Put simply, it is a strong line run across a tidally locked body of water and pulled tight. If there is a curve, there'll be a bulge in the middle, and under tension, the line should go under the bulge under the water. For full details and explanation of this experiment, search Torque the Line experiment at YouTube. I've also put together a GoFundMe to raise money for the line because it's quite expensive. Search Torque the Line experiment at GoFundMe.com. As far as I know, there is no physical mechanical test to actually measure the curvature of the Earth. They're all optical tests. So I appreciate every comment and like and share, and let's get this thing happening.
That we got recently that from Mitchell.
Yeah, that was the next thing I was going to read. You had a way better transition than I did.
So Mitchell, the guy that left us 7 I Love You Dave speak pipes in a row.
The guy who left the bunny in your kitchen.
I'm expecting it soon. Thank God he's out over and I don't have to worry about him coming. That's a down under.
Yeah, well, okay. Well, hold on, because we came up with a conspiracy theory that you thought that Australia does exist, but that the same person was playing everybody from there. Is that correct?
There's only one guy in Australia, as far as I'm concerned. I'm pretty sure it's John LeBon at this point.
And I thought it was Paul Hogan, which is Crocodile Dundee, that does the voices of everyone. But you may be right.
We have all these people calling in from Australia. They're the same person, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, sorry. Torque the Line.
So Torque the Line, he leaves us his emails. Hey, I've got this experience. I call it Torque the Line. It's pulling a line over the water, over static body of water. This is the exact experiment that Jaron had come up with and that we talked about. Do you recall?
Yes.
So I thought that he was just doing setting us up for another one of his ridiculous things.
Right.
And just saying, like making like it was his idea, but you took it as real.
Well, yes, I took it as real. And I think where you messed up is that you didn't think his speak pipes before were real. So I've taken Mitchell seriously this whole time.
All right, so that's how. Okay, that's the problem. That's very good. All right, so now that I look at it from that reference frame, well, so it is real because Jaron tweeted it. Jaron's like, yeah, I trust Mitchell. This is great, and Mitchell found a static body of water in Australia, I guess, and is going to do this thing, and he's got a GoFundMe setting up. I thought it was total nonsense. So we'll link that video in the description and check it out because I think it's a definitive flat Earth proof.
It's going to be. I'll be interested to see how we can keep the line from having any slack in it.
If it's a neutrally buoyant line, like the lines that I use when I kite surf, they're fluorescent in color. I wouldn't even say they float. They're neutrally buoyant. They don't sink or float. So wherever you put them in the water, they'll just stay there. So any tension will pull it straight. And if it's pulled over a 3-mile body of water, the center of the line should be, I think, 18 inches under the surface.
Okay, so I misunderstood. I thought he was going to suspend a line above the water.
No, you can't, because no matter what it is, even with the most amount of tension, there'll always be sag. But if you pull it in the water to have it a 1/4 of an inch under the water.
Okay, so am I to understand that we're going to have an experiment called Torque the Line with 0 torque in the line?
No, the torque is the tension on the line, correct?
But you said it's going to float.
No, the line is neutrally buoyant. So you lay this line across the water. You then torque it so it's straight in the water. It won't sag because there's no weight because it's neutrally buoyant for its entire length.
Okay.
If the 2 endpoints are a 1/4 of an inch under the water on both ends, the center will be a 1/4 of an inch under the water. If the Earth is curved, the center will be 18 inches under the water.
Okay. I'm a little slow, but I got it.
You can't say there's refraction, standard refraction. You can't say anything other than, oh, well, that must be a flat portion of the Earth.
Right. Ropes don't refract.
Ropes don't refract. Yeah, I don't even think you need a lot of tension. You just need some tension, and that's it. It's going to be a straight line, And that'll be more undeniable proof, like the infrared, that ballers will ignore.
I'm excited to see this one.
That's a good one. I'm really happy for Mitchell.
I'm glad he's got something else to think about. I think it's a little unhealthy when all he's doing is thinking about you.
Maybe we'll even have Mitchell on the podcast.
I think that'd be dangerous for you, but I think I'd be open to it.
Yeah, maybe his audio quality from Australia would be better than yours.
Well, I'm considerably higher up in the air right now, so.
All right.
So what do you say we take a break and we come back and do some speak pipes?
Okay. This will be a short show, and here we go.
Following announcement has been paid for by the Flat Earth Podcast. You want to leave a digital voicemail for us? Head over to theflatearthpodcast.com and click on the blue link that reads, "Got a question? Send us a message."
You can do it from your iPhone or from your computer. First time you do it on your cellular phone, you'll have to download a little app. But after that, you can leave us all kinds of messages. If you want to be anonymous, you can make up a name, make up an email address. We don't care. We just want to hear what you have to say.
We'll do our best to play or answer these questions and comments on future episodes right here on the Flat Earth Podcast. Download the SpeakPipe app and check us out at theflatearthpodcast.com. The Flat Earth Podcast. If you're watching this audio on YouTube right now and you're not familiar with the world of podcasting, there's a far better way to listen.
Fine, you guys. We'll continue to put the podcast out on YouTube like it's 2007. But you have no idea what you're missing. This is Matt Long from the future. Over and out.
Hey, what's going on, people? Flat Earth Man in the house. I want to talk to you about the Flat Earth International Conference. But before I do, let me tell you that all you're watching is a puppet show. Yeah, the whole world's a stage. Astronauts, they're just actors, of course, and yeah, they all get paid. Look at me, Ma, I'm floating in space. No, you're not. You're lying to the whole human race. All you're watching is a puppet show, yeah. Hey, what's going on, people? Flat Earth Man in the house.
Hey, what's going on, people? Conspiracy Music Guru right here with DITRH on the Flat Earth Podcast and preparing for the Flat Earth International Conference on the 15th and 16th of November in Denver, Colorado. Very much looking forward to it. Got a couple of songs to showcase. I'm going to be playing live as well, flying all the way from Spain, and I cannot wait. It is going to be the most amazing thing you've ever been to. If you want to understand a little bit more about this reality, if you're flat curious, or if you are well versed in the flat Earth conspiracy, then we can't wait to see you. It's going to be one hell of a conference.
If you're a full-on flat earther or just discovering flat earth and not sure, don't miss this conference. You'll learn amazing new things about flat earth. If you're new, you'll meet amazing people. You'll make lifelong friends. I woun't miss it for the world. If somebody said to me, hey, we'll give you an all-expense-paid trip to the Caribbean, which is my favorite place to go, or you can pay your own way to the Flat Earth Conference, I would give up the Caribbean and go to this conference. You can find it at fe2018.com or just go to theflatearthpodcast.com, and there's a link right there on the top of the page.
Hello, listeners. Donald J. Trump here with tremendous news for everybody. This is so good. You know, I love listening to you guys. We got the Air Force. We got the Space Force. And now I'm announcing, I was just joking, and then we said, what a great idea. We're going to have the Flat Earth Force. Flat Earth Force. This is so important. Tremendous stuff for all mankind. And Dave, I want you're going to be heading up the Department of Domeland Security, going to do such a good job. Matt, too, you're going to be there as well. Melania keeps asking, where's Jay? She loves his voice, you know. I say, honey, it's okay. Jay's gone to China. He's in China right now, but he'll be back soon, I'm sure. The Flat Earth Podcast, making America flat again. China is flat too, right? It's flat. I love you guys. Keep it up. Great job.
The whole world's a stage, and you're in the audience, and everything you see on the stage is fraudulent. Hey, what's going on, people? Flat Earth Man in the house. And you're listening to the Flat Earth Podcast. Stay flat, y'all.
All right, we're back. Dave, let's check out the speak pipes. What do you got for us?
We got one from Mo.
Hi guys, my name is Mo. I'm calling from London, England. I love your show, by the way. I've got a question about Antarctica, and my question is about the Antarctic Treaty. How is it possible that looking at the flat Earth map, how is it possible that the whole Antarctic is secured? I mean, it's such a it's such a big landmass that I don't understand how it can be so secured that nobody can actually pass a certain area. I hope you can help me with that. Thank you.
Okay, well, yeah, it's tough because you have to assume that we even have the correct map, that there is even ice all the way around. Maybe there's not ice all the way around. I would say that most likely it's probably not. I think a lot of the guarding of it comes from fear of not going there. What do you think, Dave?
It's a combination of things. I think that there's radar systems from the mainlands that can see where planes are going. If they see something heading outwards, south, away from the center, that they can track it. Maybe, that Flight 370, those Malaysian flights were making a run for it. Maybe they made it. Maybe they didn't. That's where they went. Is it guarded, like with guards interlocking elbows all the way around? Absolutely not. Are they tracking airplanes heading south? Absolutely.
Yeah, I would agree.
The other issue is distance and fuel. So if airplanes need fuel, no pilot is going to say, I'm going there, because how's he going to get back? How far can he go? There's a lot of physical limitations. I think that it's just any plane heading outwards, they can track from multiple locations.
I agree. And I think my mindset, if I ever made a run for it, would be that I probably would not be coming back. You wouldn't save anything for the way back.
Our next one is from Robert.
Geez, 1 minute. What a stingy bunch of... Oh, we're recording. Okay, hey, I just want to say, well, first of all, no more calls from Mitch in Australia. That guy makes me feel happy. And by happy, I mean gay. Okay, and secondly, it's always hard to talk about flat Earth to people, so I usually ask them if they believe in the moon landing. If they say yes, I ask, who was the first person to step foot on the moon? Was it A, Buzz Aldrin? B, Neil Armstrong? Or C, Neil Armstrong's cameraman? And that usually gets them to thinking. And then I also have a serious question for the ball believers. How do they explain the visible midday moon? I mean, are there two moons? Because the people on the bottom of the night side of the ball can't possibly be seeing the same midday moon we're seeing. What's up with that? And in regard to sleeping while you listen to podcasts or whatnot, I vote for flat nap. And then I'd also like to coin the phrase flat slacking for people who are afraid to talk about flat Earth. All right, that's it. Peace.
I actually think that Robert just set the record for bringing up the most amount of topics in a 1 minute speak pipe.
That was pretty good.
It was like 5 or 6.
He talked about the first person to step on the moon. Was it Aldridge?
Yeah, Aldridge was the cameraman's name, I believe.
He's referring to the famous clip where they show the person, the first steps on the moon, and of course there was a camera already on the moon, so he wasn't the first person on the moon.
Right. It's like right? Bear Grylls. He has cameramen with him, right? The show isn't about the cameraman. It's about Bear Grylls. Doesn't that prove something?
It just proves that they're totally lying. First man on the moon, it would be the cameraman. It's total nonsense. A lot of people bring up the midday moon. What's your thoughts on that? I'll give you mine.
The midday moon. I have no thoughts on the midday moon.
When we see the moon in the middle of the day, what about the people in Australia? What are they seeing? Because it's their nighttime. My thought is there's nights where we don't see the moon because it's in ball Earth thinking it's on the other side, when in fact it's just over in the daylight area when it's closer to the sun. The big problem with the moon is when we see a full moon during the day. That makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah, I would agree with that. How does that work?
It doesn't. I would like a globe believer to explain how that works.
Maybe they could leave us a speak pipe for next time. And then what do you think about flat slacking?
I love flat slacking. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I think it is too.
You're a flat slacker. It's more of an insult to a flat earther.
It is.
Someone has to be a flat earther already to be flat slacking.
I would agree with that, yes.
This next one is from Ryan.
Hey guys, my name is Ryan. Big fan of the podcast. Fairly new to the flat earth movement, but definitely getting behind the information that's out there and definitely having my mind blown on a daily basis. Love it. Also bought tickets to the Denver, Colorado Flat Earth Convention and one for my wife because David Weiss promised she will leave a flat earther. So my fingers are crossed. But I have been flat smacking my coworkers, and the big thing that comes up that I can't explain too well are tides and eclipse. And I know you guys have probably banged on this before, but just wanted to get some good direction towards some good information that I can just hose these MFs down with. Thanks. Love you guys. And I know eclipse sets off Curious Jay, so I apologize. Eclipse!
Nice. I want to hear you explain it, Dave, but we also have some great videos. I know specifically on the tides on our website. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. The tides are not correlated to the moon.
Agreed.
That's been shown. And then the eclipses, so many ballers say the heliocentric model is how they predict eclipses, when in fact eclipses have been predicted for thousands of years before we ever thought the Earth was a spinning ball. And I don't think we've thought the Earth was a spinning ball for more than 100 years.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right.
And you're familiar with the Antikythera device that was found off of Greece in the ocean?
No, I'm not.
There was a device that was uncovered, all fossilized, and it was a whole bunch of interlocking gears. It was an analog computer. They dated it to be, I think, over 2,000 years old. Through X-rays and MRIs and all sorts of scanning, they were able to rebuild it, and it has like 27 interlocking gears, and it predicts all of the planet's movements, the sun and the moon, and eclipses.
From a time when they thought they were living on a flat earth.
It's amazing. Look it up. Antikythera device. I'll try to link a video. What they discovered is it's a 18 years and however number of months cycle where eclipses repeat. It's a cycle. It's the same thing again and again every 18 years. Did you know that?
Wow. I did not.
Eclipses have been predicted long before heliocentrism was ever even dreamed of.
And if they repeat every 18 years, it seems to be pretty easy to predict them.
Yeah, absolutely. Glad you're coming to the conference. Make sure you come and see us. And your wife is already a flat earther. She just doesn't know it.
All facts. I actually like what Patricia Steer says, and where she says that she feels like she's been a flat earther her whole life. She just didn't know about it till recently.
I might have stolen that from her. And the next one is from Russell. Here we go, Russell.
Hello, Flat Earth Podcast guys. This is Russell Canning, Flat Earth family. I have to say that David is not arrogant at all, and that has nothing to do with me wanting to get off the lifetime ban. All right, keep up the good work, guys. Bye.
Oh, you banned him for life last time.
Oh, this is your buddy that you were talking about.
Yeah, you banned him for life last time.
All right, I will unban him.
Though I will say, Russell did let me know that they are no longer doing the kids fair at the Skyfall Conference in Auburn, Alabama in October. So
thanks for that, Russell. And our last one is from M, simply M.
Hello. I have listened to a few episodes of your podcast, and it is interesting. My question right now is, if the conspiracy overall for everything that is currently happening is so large and so many people are involved in it, then why do we not see anybody actually breaking the ranks and talking about it? I mean, it would be quite interesting if that actually happened, and it has happened in other circumstances, but why has it not happened here?
I think the longer you look into it, Dave, the smaller the amount of people has to be that actually know and control it at the top. And I always use the example in my life where I price large construction projects all over Texas. I've priced jobs in Houston that I've never personally gone down there to look at or even touch, but I assume we built them. I've never personally confirmed it for myself. And so NASA is compartmentalized the same way. Like I work in construction, but I don't swing a hammer. I don't lay tile. I type numbers into an Excel spreadsheet, and that's my job. I can't confirm that we've built these projects in Houston or Austin, but I'm pretty sure we did. I have no reason to doubt that, which I would say the majority of people at NASA, that's the way their job operates. Would you agree?
I totally agree. For example, the Saturn V rocket that took us to the moon, NASA contracted out to thousands, I believe, at least hundreds, if not thousands of different companies to have different parts made. And everybody made this part for the rocket. And so everybody knows somebody who has a grandfather who worked on the Saturn V rocket, when in fact they just made a part and sent it to NASA, and they believe that it went into space. There are people that are speaking out. The problem is nobody's listening. The mainstream news doesn't say it. Then the sleeping zombies don't believe that it exists. There's also people that do know, that are big players that aren't breaking ranks because they love their comfortable life and they don't want to rock the boat.
Totally agree. And I think if you have a good versus evil mindset and truly believe that this is evil, like I do, then when you have dedicated your entire life to the evil side, it is not in your best interest to come forward. You've already picked your side. There is no going back.
And there's also people that have come forward on many different topics that are silenced. They're silenced through blackmail, through threats, and through death.
Agreed.
Not as many people are in the know, and the ones that are in the know are so deeply involved or high up, or however you want to put it, that it doesn't make any sense for them to come out because they've got nothing to gain and no one's going to hear them anyway. They're going to be silenced.
Correct. Or they were literally born for that cause.
Right.
It wouldn't cross their mind to come out.
All right, I think that's it. It's a fairly short one this week because you will be traveling next week, so we wanted to get one out so we didn't have Mitchell freaking out, leaving me crazy voicemails.
We do the show for Mitchell, and if anyone else decides to listen, then so be it. We got some things to cover. We want to make sure people are clicking the bell on the website, right, Dave?
TheFlatEarthPodcast.com. There's a little red bell, and you'll just get a little gentle thing that'll pop up in the corner of your computer when new content is added. We don't send you an email. There's not going to be buzzers and pop-ups screwing you up. It's just a little flag will come out and say, hey, this was just added to the website, so you can check it out.
Awesome. You can find me at flatworth.com or at flatworth on Instagram. Like I said before, I'm getting tired of Facebook, but I will check it. But if you want to contact me, the best way is through direct message on Instagram. I will answer every single one of them. Don't forget to check out redhenwith2ns.com. And I think we're going to put the Red Hen image file on our FE artwork so that anyone can use it. Is that right?
The FE artwork page on theflatearthpodcast.com has all sorts of downloadable art that you can print to flat smack with. And now you can take the Red Hen logo and do with it as you wish.
Do with it as you wish. That's right. That's wearing a flat earth. That's using a flat earth image without having to say flat earth. But if I see you with a red hen on, I'm going to know that you know.
Also coming up in November, right around the corner, we're about 2 months away, is the Flat Earth International Conference. Whether you're a flat earther or not, especially if you're not, come to the Flat Earth Conference because you will leave a flat earther.
That's right. And Dave and I are going to be doing a couple sessions on how to speak to friends and family and not lose friends and family.
It's going to be a good one. Use the discount code FE Podcast, all one word. Get 10% off your ticket. And that's all I got for this week.
Awesome. See you guys next time.
All right, man.
And in case there are any conspiracy theorists out there, how would you prove to us that you're in zero gravity?
Major Tom.